What's up, boys and girls? Probably. Hello. Happy Tuesday, August 24, 2021, 8/24. Happy Kobe Day. Hopefully you guys had a rock solid Monday night. I did fine. The pitching was basically what we thought it was. Made a nice little profit off of prop bets. The Senzatella prize pick over fantasy point projection was one of my anchors last night, and it did well. We kind of expect that now. So it got to the point where I'm watching Senzatella pitch, and the Cubs are just so bad, and I'm just like, man, I'd play a lot of people against the Cubs. And then I look up today, and we see German Marquez, one of the actual, better pitchers in the league, gets an opportunity at the Cubs. I'm like, okay, well, maybe DraftKings will make him 10K. And then he's like 8K. I'm like, what are we doing? So happy German Marquez Day, I guess. I don't know. How'd you guys do last night, chat, man? What's up, Jonathan Adams? Mouse. Mouse, you changed your name in here? Yo, dude, we got a Josh Clan defector. Are my eyes deceiving me? What's going on with that? What up, Lincoln, Hawk, Blair, Markwell, Rich Homie Quinn, Zach? Going right back with Herman. Yeah, I think German Marquez will likely be one of the highest owned players of the year for a 14-game slate. However, I mean, how do you argue with it? You know, matchup is so pure. What can you do? But we will be going game by game today, breaking down a little bit of everything and a lot of bit of everything. So hopefully you guys can walk away, get a little bit of information, a couple nuggets, and hopefully do really, really well tonight. I'm happy, right? Real life baseball. Yankees go 10-0. A lot of Braves fans were in the chat yesterday. You know, as your penance, you have to hit that thumbs up, and maybe, just maybe, you'll squeak one out today. If the Yankees have a starting pitcher that's very liable to bleed red, it is Andrew Heaney. So good luck to you guys today. But man, I'm excited to get things going. You guys know the drill. We're brought to you by PrizePicks. We're brought to you by RunDFS.com. Everything we do throughout this stream will be referencing the RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet. We'll do a plug later on in the day to get through that. But since we have so many games on the docket, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the intro here, and kind of want to dive headfirst into some analysis. If you guys follow me on Twitter, man, show me some love. Hit me with a retweet. I tweeted out the link to this stream, and we are just a couple of subscribers away from 5,300, I believe. So nice little round number there. We just hit an even number on Twitter in terms of followers, I believe, 2,600. I mean, that is just, look at that. It just looks good. It just looks good. So show me some love, man. We're trying to grow the channel. I have some big goals in terms of subscriber counts for this channel as we progress through the football season. I was thinking I could break 6K by January 1st, and some people are telling me that that's too low of a goal, so maybe I'll raise it. What up, Dave Jones? Look at that purple G next to Dave. Shout out to Dave, y'all, a member of the channel. We've got channel content coming up. In the last couple days, we haven't put up the first look videos because I've been working on videos on the side. I've created, for instance, one of the videos we are working on is I analyzed every Millie Maker winning lineup last year from the big one, and drew away some of the most common correlations. So that video will drop on you guys probably Sunday. We might do a live premiere for that. Also some other tips and tricks videos. So have been substituting some time to work on those versus the first look, but I appreciate y'all. Look at and my old ladies in the chat. What up, Danny? What up, Zach Scott? Who else we got? What up, Cheles B? I'll be live eventually. Yeah. My old lady, she streams on Twitch, but every day something new, man. She's getting hit with the Texas allergy bug. I don't know. Starting Yankees and Braves and didn't cash. What was like the stack last night? I saw that the Pirates had 4 or 5 double-digit guys. The Royals, we were on the over 3.5. They smacked that. I think they dropped 7 on the Astros. Salvi, one of the top power projected bats, went Yabo. Matter of fact, the top 3 guys on the bomb detector yesterday were all catchers, and I think it was like a double homer all against the projected pitcher. So. Yeah. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Let's get some analysis out of the way. If you guys have picks and calls and stuff that you've already worked on, doing some research on the slate, share it with the class, man. Any questions game by game, we'll be sure to vigilantly check chat, go back, address any questions, comments, any type of hey, what do you think about this? Or I like this guy. What do you think? We'll get through it, man. 14 games. We'll do it. Are you doing live before lock on Sundays for NFL? No. I will have a plethora of NFL content, but I do believe live before lock. Unless you meant like Osmo, no, I don't know. But I don't intend to live stream before NFL lock. because there's going to be a lot of people streaming it. I kind of find my lane and stay in it, but before lock for NFL, I'm using the RunDFS.com VIP Discord voice chat. So won't have any before lock content for football. Maybe night before live stream, something like that. But right now I don't have any intentions to be on a before lock for NFL, right? Josh plays DFS and finding more success lately, not stacking. Yeah, so I think full stacking is really for the big slates, right? The 14 gamers where it's more likely to see a team put up a couple football scores, right? On the shorter slates, especially slates like yesterday, when I didn't have a ton of power, I don't feel as inclined to force the 5-man. I still think 4-3s or 3-3 stuff like that. I still think that will rise because inherently baseball is a correlation sport in terms of obtaining points, right? The RBIs and runs and stuff like that. But I do think that I find myself more enamored with the 5-man stacking on the big slates where it's more likely that a team gets out of control because there's more of them versus the smaller slate. So last night was one of those nights, but I still think you could have got away with some of the like the Pirates stack. 4 or 5 of them had double-digit fantasy points. It's just a great way to throw a blanket over great offenses that go off. But you really need that go-off night, right? Those nights where a team drops 10 to 20 runs, a bunch of bombs, stuff like that, the laughers. And lately there hasn't been a ton of laughers. So, but whatever your process is, kind of stick with it, right? If you've been a 5-man stacker, but it hasn't worked for a couple days, don't give up on it because every process will have its day, right? All right, let's get into some coverage here. The Rays lineup did just come out. Rays and the Phillies were going to be the first game we kind of look at today. The lineup for the Rays: Randy Arozarena, Nelson Cruz, Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz. So no Nelson Cruz again. He was on the COVID list. So I don't know how much longer it's going to be for him to come back, but it won't be today. Rays are in an NL Park. He might be active, but maybe just not playing because it is a DH-less lineup. Ranger Suarez, your projected starter for the Phillies here. Drew Rasmussen for the Rays. I'm assuming Rasmussen's going to be more of a opener than a stressed-out starter, but we'll cross-reference that. Look at his recent outings and pitch counts and stuff like that. He got to 56-50, so yeah, it's going to be more of an opener than a starter, but looks like 4 innings, 5 innings, he might still get you close to half the game. I don't think we're definitely not going to pitch him, but it might be something to help us project at least 2 at-bats here. Or Nelson Cruz is batting second. I literally typed that. What am I thinking? Nelson Cruz against the lefty is definitely something that I can get behind. However, Ranger Suarez has been pretty solid this year against both sides of the plate. He was a converted closer, I believe. He was a closer for them, and they turned him into an opener. So I do expect some regression on some of these numbers. But this year against righties, a 63.2% ground ball rate. So he is somebody that's going to be tough to get off those fly balls and get off those power swings. So I'm kind of low on this game overall. I think the Rays can put up a tough attack on the mound, and I think this is going to be a tough matchup for the Rays here. Nelson Cruz playing the field, huh? So I think this is one of those games on a 14-game slate where I'm not going to have a ton of attachment to. I'll cherry pick the high-quality bats in my lineup. Nelson Cruz might get like the Giancarlo Stanton treatment where in a close game they sub him out late in the game for defense. But outside of that, I think Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, they project well against your typical lefty. Suarez does have an elevated xFIP against righties, so maybe you can activate some of those guys in the opto. But I think early on, neither one of these teams are projecting like a priority stack for me, so I'm going to kind of stick with that approach and just think this game just kind of exists. Let me see what you guys got in chat. But Yogi, what about the Rangers sword? Okay, solid picks. What do you think about this kid, outfielder Lane Thomas, playing for the Nats? We'll look him up when we get to that game. Franco and Lau, and that's it for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm with that. Tony, yeah, that was my bad on the cruise. I literally typed his name and it didn't just like process. Rasmussen and Ranger Suarez both have K props on PrizePicks. All right, interesting. Let's go look at PrizePicks, one of our sponsors. Rasmussen's at 3.5, and Ranger Suarez is at. There's a lot of pitchers today. Did I miss it? Guys, I need to wake up. This bang isn't. He's at 4. He's literally right next to Rasmussen, dude. Need my brain to kick in. So 4 on Suarez, 3.5 on Rasmussen. So Rasmussen's somebody that we saw him do 50 pitches in his last couple games. So let's put him at 50 in this matchup and see what we get. 50 pitches gives me 3.5, so half under 4. Who knows if he gets stretched out a little bit more. And then Suarez is a guy that is starting to get more and more stretched out. And the Rays do have some strikeouts in their lineup. One of the highest K teams, or one of the teams with the most amount of strikeouts on this season. Suarez last couple starts, 86, 80. So let's give him 80 pitches here. 80 pitches for Suarez gives me 5.9 strikeouts. And looking at this Rays lineup, we've got Brandon Lau, Meadows, Zunino. Rosarena is a coin flip here, but it basically comes down to Lau, Meadows, Zunino, the pitcher spot, and then goes on from there. Yeah, that's close. I wish these high percentage guys were higher in the lineup. Also, with that said, knowing that Kevin Cash is the skipper here, there will almost definitely be some double switching going on in this Rays lineup. So if you are on the Rays stack, understand that maybe more than just Nelson Cruz don't finish this game, and Cash might unload the thinking cap for this one, right? Let's move on to the next game. D-backs at the Pirates. Madison Bumgarner taking on JT Brubaker. Bumgarner, 7,100 on DraftKings. Could definitely see a path to 2x, 2.5x. His price point, if you're looking for 14 to 20. Never a comfortable click for me because his metrics just always scream gun, pick on me. The near 5x FIP, the elevated hard contact rate. He's been a league leader in hard contact and fly ball the last couple years. But this year, he's really just been a pitcher, right? He's finding ways to make it work. A 20% K rate, not great, but the home run per nine has come down. I guess you could argue that maybe it's park conducive, but PNC Park, not necessarily a hitter's park in its own right. I would give him a second to maybe look at his road splits to see if the home runs have been higher on the road. But he has had a weird season, right? He was down for a long time with injury, and ever since he's came back, he's been really, really serviceable. So just out of curiosity, as a pitcher, away home run per nine is what we're looking for. 1.24. So it's been, about the same as this home run per nine. The walk rate, it is what it is. If I want to pick on Madison Bumgarner, it's still going to be big pop power righties. Michael Chavis is leading off for the Pirates here. That's a new look for them. He's 3,500 on DraftKings, but just 2K on Fanduel. So if you wanted to cherry pick him as a potential value play to kind of make a lineup work out, it does look like he'll have a lucrative spot in the order. Backing up Madison Bumgarner is one of the league's worst bullpens, so you might get a quality 4, 5, 6 at-bats, but probably 4 to 5 is your implied at-bats here. Get Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, all guys I think I could put in the player pool for me. It's hard to get behind a Pirate stack with a lot of confidence and excitement, but I do think Mad Bum's not gonna, have a perfecto here. So, give me the guys that might bleed into this hard contact and this pull rate. Brian Reynolds and Jacob Stallings have the 2 highest bomb ratings on the Pirates lineup. So take that as you will. Pitching for the Pirates here, JT Brubaker, 6,700. He's got a 1-in-4 K rate to righties, 1-in-5 to lefties. He also allows a lot of power to both sides of the plate. Ketel Marte, Carson Kelly, and ironically Madison Bumgarner all have above 4 ratings on the bomb detector. But calling it what it is. These are two very below average teams doing battle in a pitcher's park. So they're probably not going to give us the warm and fuzzies in terms of stacks that we want to be heavily focused on. But there are players in this lineup or in these lineups that I will likely have in the mix. Mentioned a few of the Pirates. If I had to gravitate towards these D-backs here, it is to go get some of those guys to tack on the home runs. And I do think Carson Kelly's a guy I don't mind getting to. He does have a nice swing behind him. We liked him yesterday in the righty-righty matchup, but at almost a 5K catcher, that's a lot of salary to give up. But Asdrubal Cabrera strikes me as somebody that's I guess immediately priced where I can justify it as a middle of the lineup salary saving stocking stuffer, a switchy that gets himself high in the order. And I think at 3K, more so on DraftKings, he strikes me as somebody I don't mind leaning on if I had to make a lineup work. But overall, this lineup doesn't excite me. We don't have the confirmed lineup yet. Might get something weird like Carson Kelly not catching Mad Bum. I don't know if Mad Bum has a specific caddy this year because he's been so up and down, but Kelly's definitely their best bet. If Kelly's not in this lineup, I'd be even less on the D-backs stack, right? See what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. What up, Nathan? How you doing, bro? I think Suarez can stay in there long enough to beat his K-prop, even if he gets shelled. Yeah, the Phillies are in a weird spot where the Braves really ran away with that NL East in the last 2 weeks, right? They went on a 9-game win streak in their own right. I don't remember who ended their 9-game streak, but they were on one. And during that time, we saw the Braves really start to build a lead. So I don't know that the Phillies would wear it that quickly, right? They still need to fight and scrap for wins here, but I wouldn't be so shocked if Suarez hits that. What did we say it was? 4? I just wish some of these like 30%ers were higher in the order, because 1 through 4, call it like it is going to be tough for him to put down. But the bottom half of that lineup looks really good. So if he went through Lau, Meadows, Zunino, and the pitcher spot, and was able to get 4 strikeouts on those guys alone, if he went through the lineup twice, that would push. So I'd be okay with that call. I was just saying I wish they were a little higher up, but I'm fine with that with 4. 4 is pretty low for the bottom of that lineup being as strikeout prone as it is, right? Quinn says, might need to check if Mad Bum has home run odds on Sportsbook. Those odds would have to be long. Has he homered this year? I don't remember seeing his name in the home run feed. It's been like Inoa, obviously Ohtani. I think Marquez might have got a bomb earlier this year. And then I feel like one of the Pirates pitchers had a homer not too long ago. Let's move on to the next game here. Orioles hosting the Angels. Dylan Bundy looking for revenge, taking on Spencer Watkins. Do not have lineups for either team here. Shohei Ohtani is 6.4K on DraftKings going into Camden Yards, one of the more sought-after hitting environments for hitters. From listening to several interviews, Camden is often a favorite place for hitters to hit. I don't know if it's the batter's eye or what, or maybe it's just Orioles pitching, but Spencer Watkins taking the mound here for the Orioles. Really, really, really bad, particularly against righties, but against lefties, a 30% line drive rate, a 4.59 xFIP. Yeah, the home run per 9 is kind of low, 0.44, but Ohtani is Ohtani. You're going to lead off in Camden. You're going to get into this bullpen. It has propensity to just go nuts. So I like him. I wish I liked the Angels offense more than this 5.6 run total is telling me I should, but I guess this is one of those unstoppable force and movable objects where we're taking one of the highest strikeout prone teams in all of baseball and we're putting that against a non-strikeout pitcher, right? Spencer Watkins, 11% K rate to righties, 16.9% to lefties. So going against a lineup that strikes out 1 and 4, 1 and 5, or even greater, 1 and 3, right? there's a couple of ranges of outcomes that could play out here. One, Watkins could just turn into a pitcher against the Cubs and get strikeouts. Or two, maybe the Angels neutralize these K rates and they tap more into some of the ISO and the power rates, right? Justin Upton still has some power with him. We've seen him homer a few times in the last 2 weeks. Spencer Watkins absolutely allows power to righties. Jared Walsh is a guy with a ton of power. And then as you get deeper into this lineup, there's a couple of guys that have really struggled to put the ball in play that maybe now they have a better chance, like a Brandon Marsh at 39% K rate, Max Stassi 31%, and then Joe Adell, he might be rolling in the deep today if he can make contact with the ball. So I'm at the point where I don't think I will ever play Spencer Watkins. I usually don't like to subscribe to bad pitchers against bad teams. The Cubs have kind of changed that for me in the last week, but I don't think this Angels team is bad per se. They just don't have a ton of ISO, whereas the Cubs team is bad everything, right? There's a couple of hit for average guys, David Fletcher, Jose Iglesias, guys like that would at least put the Angels on base enough for me to never think about pitching against them. So the real question I have is, do I get to the Angels stack? And if I do, how often? I want to say yes, just because it is Orioles pitching, and Orioles pitching just creates the big upside. So the answer is yes. Just how much? We'll think about it. Upton has a 4.2 rating on the bomb detector. On the other side here, Dylan Bundy, 5,800, former Oriole here. He has a 4.35 xFIP to righties this season, a 4.96 xFIP to lefties. Orioles aren't a warm and fuzzy stack in their own right, but they do have an implied run total of 5. Cedric Mullins, Mountcastle, Trey Mancini, and Santander would be the obvious 4 guys that I gravitate towards. Santander continues to be one of the cheapest designated hitters in all of baseball. So if you thought that he could fill out a lineup going against a guy like Bundy and you needed a salary saving, go for it. Look at his recency bias. We've seen some big games, including that double dong game against Atlanta. Past that, I guess it hasn't been as good. So I guess his price is deservedly so, but Dylan Bundy is somebody that we can pick on and we can get homers, especially from the left side of the plate. A 169 homer per night so far this season, 2 lefties, and Santander and Mullins might be the only 2 lefties in this lineup. I saw Jahmai Jones is expected to catch a start here. I don't know if he's one of their top prospects that is getting a look, so we'll look into his minor league numbers. We kind of did this and uncovered like Taylor Jones for the Astros, and he's been a really solid play. So maybe Jahmai Jones is somebody that we can get behind. I saw that the Orioles actually have a couple of baseball's top prospects now going forward, so maybe he's one of them, but I don't see. Let's see. MILB, he is batting 246 with a 766 OPS. So nothing great about Jahmai Jones in the minors. Maybe 10 stolen bases and 260 at bats. Maybe that's something to look out for. But I was hoping we would have a value nugget, but it doesn't look like he's anything particularly special. So if I'm getting to Orioles, it's likely concentrating on 1 through 4 in this projected lineup, and then. Yeah, some Angels. Chat, what do you guys got on this one, if anything? Angel stack tonight. I may make them very high priority. Good park. Baltimore bullpen, not good. Yeah, Baltimore bullpen's really, really bad. So I don't mind believing in the Angels here, right? You gotta believe in one side because the Orioles are not likely to pitch clean baseball. It's just the Angels have been so bad. I mean, so bad in terms of allowing average pitchers to walk away with 8-9 strikeouts, but Watkins just does not fit that bill for me. He's just not a strikeout pitcher by nature. So I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna believe that the Angels bats are better. Maybe I'm not necessarily stacking them for power. If I get Ohtani, Upton, Walsh to go Yaba, I'll take it. But Fletcher and Jose Iglesias, guys that can get on base a couple times here, maybe touch home plate. Maybe they fill out a stack here. 4,100 for Jose Iglesias sure seems like a lot. especially when you can get him on a Fanduel for 23. But he would be in the stack in terms of guys I would target. That's for sure. What up, Lorenza? Bundy over 4Ks. Watkins under 3.5. Bundy's interesting. I guess Bundy does have strikeout propensity, and lately he has been stretched out. 84 to 62, 63. I think his pitch count has too much volatility for me to subscribe. Watkins, you said under 3.5. See, I hate betting unders on really, especially against this lineup, right? This Angels lineup that has Fletcher and Iglesias as the only guys striking out less than 26%. I don't think I could sweat under 3.5 against that. I really don't. So I don't know. Those are probably two that I just leave on the board and try to win elsewhere. But that's just me, you know. Dude, I need to wake up. I need some coffee. Stack both sides of the O's game. Hot, humid day. I mean, that's fair too. Humidity 59%. Can the Braves not let me down again? I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna have to say no. I don't know. You should get to Andrew Heaney. White Sox at the Blue Jays. Dylan cease and desist taking on Jose Berrios. Implied run total for the White Sox 4.3. The Blue Jays 4.8. Yesterday, Lance Lynn versus Alek Manoah kind of was what it was, right? Neither pitcher broke the slate, but neither offense was really able to get through. It was just a battle. Maybe we'll get more of the same with these two guys today. Dylan Cease, a 30% K rate, essentially to both sides of the plate. On the road this year, a 3.84 xFIP, 29% K rate, keeping the ball in the park for the most part, but not necessarily on the ground, just a 37% ground ball rate, elevated line drive rate, hard contact rate is low, and maybe that's what's helping him out here. Maybe the turf monster rears his head against Cease today. Jose Berrios is $8,600 on DraftKings. I do like the price point to every now and then get through to this projected lineup for a high amount of strikeouts. He is somebody that can get us some strikeouts, but I do think at this, like in single entry, it's hard for me to say Berrios over a guy like German Marquez, right? I think they both offer similar strikeout upside. And Marquez's floor has to be presumably way higher considering the matchup. Last couple games for Berrios, 8.5, -3.5, 20-26. So at 8,600, I'm generally looking for a puncher's chance at 20 on a slate this big. Definitely wouldn't be a comfortable click, but there is a range of outcomes where this White Sox team taps into a 1-in-5 or greater strikeout rate because of the propensity to strike out. So I'm leaning to putting Berrios in the back end of a pitching player pool for 150 lineups, but short entry. Obviously, I'm leaning to German Marquez, but I'm just assuming that Marquez is the highest pitcher owned on the slate. I haven't looked at ownership projections, but that just seems like the obvious play of the century, which means the Cubs will drop 10, right? Dylan Cease, 8,800. Just a tough matchup. You know, unlike the White Sox, which the White Sox are a menacing matchup, but they still have strikeouts, right? So you could see a path to success. The Blue Jays are a menacing matchup, but they don't really strike out that much. Even Lance Lynn wasn't really mowing them down for strikeouts. So I just feel like the upside is a little bit more limited and the glass ceiling's a little bit lower for me to really get behind Dylan Cease with any level of confidence. So I'm probably going to be low on Cease. I don't know that I would be completely out at 150, but 20 or less, 50 or less, Cease probably not a priority click for me. And even 50 or less, I probably don't get to a ton of Berrios here, but I'm just thinking that, you know, a near 30% K rate, or really if we just go to a 25% K rate on Berrios and cross-reference that with the White Sox matchup, there is strikeouts to be had. So there's a world where the White Sox, don't, or fly out a couple times to the track. No bomb ratings for the White Sox over 4. And on the Blue Jays side, we've got Teoscar Hernandez as the bat to watch against Dylan Cease, who has allowed Just a 102 home run per nine to righties, but a 46% fly ball rate, and I'm guessing Hernandez has one of the better batted ball metrics to kind of match up with that. Neither lineup confirmed as of yet. Love Cease today. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wish there was more implied strikeouts in this lineup. What's a good pitch count for Cease? Let's go look at the K Factory. Let's give him 90, right? Let's just give him 90 pitches. Gives me 6.5 strikeouts. I mean, I really don't feel like that's shaking the world for me on against an offense this good. Implied run total for the Blue Jays 4.8. So I don't know. I do think, like, obviously Cease is good. Could tap into that 30% K rate, and sometimes the pitcher would just be better than the hitter. But pre-flop, the math isn't lining up for me to be too enamored with the spot. White Sox got some BVP versus Barrio. Hold up, bro. When are we doing? When did this become a BVP channel? No, I mean, I'll look at it, but that wouldn't sway my decision one way or the other. I'd rather look at the pitch report here. Barrios BVP. 2 bombs to Jose Abreu, 3 to Yohan Moncada, a couple of 1s for Eloy, Lurie Garcia, Goodwin, Gavin Sheets. So, yeah, a couple numbers there. We got 15 strikeouts for Abreu in 52 at-bats. There's a lot of at-bats. So, maybe Abreu's is something that you look at. But, remember, BVP, very, very slippery. And sample size usually low. I guess the sample size on Abreu is long enough, strong enough to maybe look at it and consider it. But what are we doing? Lewis Robert, 3,800. A little BVP ain't never hurt nobody. BVP is life. No, I don't know. Cubs scored 6 runs. Cubs didn't score until after Senzatella. I forget, was it Bard that came in? Or it was Chacin. Chacin came in, I think, and got lit up for 3. And then I want to say it was like Daniel Bard or somebody out of the bullpen that came in and gave up some more. So they got there late, but it wasn't off of Senzatella. Marquez is the 3rd chalkiest pitcher on the slate. Dude, how is he not number 1, man? He'll definitely be my highest on pitcher. So maybe I'll out leverage the field. But like I said, it would be my luck that this will be the game that the Cubs show up, right? Twins and the Red Sox, next game on the docket. We do have a Twins lineup, and I already got that punched in. And then a Red Sox lineup came out. Kiki, do you love me? Kyle Schwarber's batting second. Let's go. Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers batting cleanup. JD Martinez. This lineup is actually disgusting. Alex Verdugo, Hunter Renfroe, Travis Shaw. With his walk-off grand slam yesterday, he earns a spot over Bobby Dalbec. And this is your Red Sox confirmed lineup. They have an implied run total of 6.4. Oof, Griffin Jacks. Welcome to Fenway. This could get ugly. Griffin Jacks, just a 16% K rate to lefties. If you're not going to strike out Kyle Schwarber, I'll pray for you. And then against righties, the power, 2.6 home run per 9. Guess what? Bomb Detector loves Hunter Renfroe and JD Martinez. No one man should have all that power, but Hunter Renfroe is projecting extremely well because he's somebody that will be able to neutralize his K rate and maybe tap into the big swing. Red Sox have to be one of your favorite sought-after stacks today. The run total's high. The Twins, bad starter, bad bullpen. So yeah, give me all the Red Sox here. Tanner Hakalugi on the bump for the Red Sox here. A 38.2% K rate to righties, 25% K rate to lefties. XFIP is pretty sharp. I guess with Hawk, it's just a matter of pitch count. Could we get 70, 80 lately? 58, 89, 74. A little bit like the Dylan Bundy game log. So I think last start against the Yankees, he just was wearing it. You know, five hits allowed. Guess he didn't walk anybody. But if I can get to 70 here, I don't think that there's a 0% range of outcomes that he can knock on the door of a 20. But I would love like 80, 90 pitches. So maybe he's somebody I look more so for at maybe like a PrizePicks call. Because there are some strikeouts in this Twins lineup. Let me see if Hawk is Hawks at 5.5, so that's right on the edge. I don't feel like I'm getting a ton of value. But Brent Rooker, 33% K rate. Garver, Nick Gordon, D. Gordon's brother, if you didn't know that. Miguel Sano and Jay Cave, all about 30%. So there is 1 in 3 K rate ability for half the lineup. So if he can get 2 trips through this lineup, 5.5 at maybe. But I wish I can get that at like 5, and then I'd be a little bit more intrigued. But matchup-wise, I think this is a Red Sox stack smash spot. The Twins against Huck, there's really not anything to love versus Huck. He has an elevated line drive rate, sure. The hard contact to right is a little up there, but the xFIP is amazing, under 3, under 2.3 against righties. So there's really not much to really profile and love from the Twins side. So I'm probably going to be out on the Twins. Any crazy bomb detector ratings? I guess Mitch Garver is always projecting well against righties, really against both sides of the plate, but that's about it. I'm probably down on Twins, all the way up on Red Sox. A little bit of Hawk if I could feel a little bit better about his pitch count, but again, he's so close. Like to me, DraftKings just like broke the slate when they put German Marquez at the price that they put him, 8,200. I just like. I don't think it could, like, in basketball when I'm scripting, there'll be times where I just lock button what I feel like is just incredible value. Like, I think it would just be, like, dumb to lock button somebody in baseball on a 14-game slate. But I tell you what, my brain really wants to do it. So when guys like Tanner Huck are just $300 away, or vice versa, when guys like Marquez are only $300 away from Huck, who has a volatile pitch count, like I'm just like, man, give me Marquez, give me Marquez, give me Marquez. So Marquez might get me in a lot of trouble tonight because I might just be extremely aggressive with my ownership on him, right? Let's see what you guys got in the chat before we move on to the next one. Quinn says, the only BVP I trust is Bryce Harper against Tehran. Evan Longoria against CC Sabathia. That's a good one. Lately, we've seen G-Man Choi versus Garrett Cole as one. Remember Mike Trout versus Felix Hernandez. And there was another pitcher that Bryce Harper destroyed. It was like Tom. I want to say his name was Tom. A pitcher for he was with the Marlins. Cole? Tom Cole? Does that sound? I don't know. Something like that. Lorenzo says the only man since Big Papi to hit the boys and girls sign over the green monster. I'm all on Renfroe. Renfroe's a monster. He's a beast. Perfect little bottom of the lineup guy that you hit for power. You're like, you strike out, oh well. Swing the bat as hard as you can. Rod says my Opto loves Rangers too, and I'm also confused. Devers for the double dog. I can get down with that. Marquez, such a good play tonight. The Cubs are weak. 14. They're too weak, like 14 days. Bars. I'm not a rapper. Chicago weather going to be bad. I guess, I guess I haven't looked at weather yet, but I guess that could be a massive monkey wrench. Let's move on to the next lineup. About to check like 3 different optos. So the opto it's not necessarily optos, but more so the projections that are in the opto, right? So just look at what the projections are, and each optimizer probably has a different data source for that, right? What happened to King Felix? Man, he was in the league last year, the year before, and then it was just time to ride out. Marlins hosting the Nats. Eric Fetty, WAP, taking on Jesus Luzardo. Nats have a 4.2 implied. Okay, Carlos. Pause. Nats have a 4.2 implied run total. Marlins at 4.4. Marlins lineup is confirmed. Jesus Luzardo, 6,400. Fetty, 7,300. This is definitely a wide range of outcome game. Both teams have a meager and avoidable run total on this slate, but both starting pitchers have not been great. Jesus Luzardo definitely struggling to find what he had a couple years ago in Oakland. A really tough start for him with the Marlins. A lot of people thought the park boost would really play well for him. The last 2 starts not great, including the aforementioned Cubs team that has just been giving up massive games. And the big problem with Luzardo right now is the walks. 5 walks, 4 walks, 4 walks, 3 walks. Walk this way it is a lot of wasted pitches right now for Luzardo going out there and walking as many people as he is. So have concerns about that. And then Eric Fetty's side, we have years of sample size. He's never really been astonishing. This year, 22.7% carry to righties with just under 4 xFIP. That's enough to maybe think that he's not a complete gas can, but not enough like upside baked into these numbers. Just a 7.9% swing and strike rate, 22% overall carry to righty. So we're really just kind of hoping this game exists. It's incredibly average. Neither pitcher has a crazy game. And then Marlins Park being Marlins Park, if we miss out on a couple doubles or off the wall triples, something like that, whatever. Soto, Yadiel Hernandez, Carter Kieboom, and Tres Barrera have all elevated batting averages and ISO against lefties. So if Jesus Luzardo is going to continue to be as bad as he is, maybe you look at some of these bats. I think Juan Soto is just like getting lost in the sauce because of the team that he's on, because of 5,400, maybe today because of the ballpark. So maybe he's a fun, high talented guy you can add to your lineups to differentiate. But for the most part, like no warm and fuzzies on either side. I'd be more inclined to grab some of these Nats starters, but the Marlins bullpen is strong enough that I'm not overly invested in the spot. So game just kind of exists on a 14 gamer, right? We're just grabbing a couple of bats to cherry pick, but nothing crazy, right? Lorenzo says 2 crappy ball clubs and a pitcher's park with this big of a slate. I'm good. I'm kind of with you. Nats lineup just came out. No Josh Bell. All right, I don't see it yet on the Labs thing, but that's not really going to move the foundation. We'll update some lineups as we come back in a little bit. Where are we at? 50 viewers. Chat. We have spots left in the $100 NFL season-long league that we're running. Actually, we have 2. I'll probably live stream the 2 drafts. I have a $150 draft on a Monday, and then we'll also have the $100 draft. So if you guys want to be part of that, hit me up on Twitter. I think I have 5 or 6 spots left. Send me a DM. Get in there. We're drafting Monday night, probably an hour after baseball lock. So being on that, it's first pay, first serve via PayPal, twitter.com/Gundacker. Giants at the Mets. Next game on the docket. Sammy Long taking on Tyler Megill. Giants 4.2 implied run total. Mets 4.3. Mets are in dire need of some wins now. 87 degrees out there in Citi Field. Neither lineup confirmed. Sammy Long is the projected starter for the Mets here. Not the Mets, for the Giants here. I don't know that he's a stretched out starter because 44. Yeah, so we're probably just going to get first 3-4 innings if we're lucky. So I think on a 14-game slate, I can just go ahead and not consider him in the player pool. And then Megill is somebody I wouldn't hate taking shots on if it's a different lineup, man. This Giants lineup has been so darn good that I don't know that I take that risk today. 6,900 for Megill. I'm looking for maybe 18 plus DKP in tournaments at that price point. Can he get it? Yeah. I guess he barely squeaked it out in that start at Oracle. So maybe at the very back end here, but it's not a warm and fuzzy spot, and I would like to know that there's a little bit of meat left on the bone. This Giants lineup right now is projecting pretty lefty heavy, and his splits against lefties, not what you want. 5.39 xFIP to lefties, 286 average allowed, 185 home run per 9. So if it does come out with just 2 righties in the lineup, and those righties being Buster Posey and Chris Bryant, I probably don't get to Megill at any type of velocity, right? Like, I think I just avoid Megill. And then, are the Giants stackable? 4.2 as a road dog here. That seems a little bit on the low end, especially if they do come out super lefty heavy. Tommy LaStella, Lamont Wade, Brandon Belt, Alex Dickerson, Mike Yastrzemski. There's enough beef, hit for average with a little bit of ISO that I could see them winning this game against the skidding Mets, and then also really just hitting their over. So a couple bloops and blasts, and I'm in there. So I do like the Giants offense a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the prices are nice. 3,200, and this is just assuming that this comes out as projected, but 3,200 to 3Ks, your 1 and 2 guys taking advantage of Megal's struggles and XFIP to lefties. Belt, we've seen some strong games from him. Alex Dickerson, like there's enough value in this lineup that maybe there are a value substack I can get to. Sammy Long has not been great against righties. 310 average allowed, 165 home run per 9. You might get Javi Baez back in the lineup. I think I read that there might be some setbacks, but if Baez is in the lineup, he's somebody that has always hit lefties with power. But with great power comes great strikeout ability. But I think in this spot, we might be able to neutralize that, right? Nearly a 30% K rate to lefties, and Long has just a 19% K rate to righties. So if we can drop that down, 10%, maybe Baez has a better shot. Pete Alonso, J.D. Davis, former Yankee great Brandon Drury. There's a couple of bats in this Mets lineup that, or in this projected lineup that I can get behind. Even Kevin Pillar. So I'd actually be pretty interested in seeing the confirmed lineups for this game because I think that would shake some of my player pool. Because I could justify either side here. I really could. See what you guys got in the chat. Love Pete Alonso. I'm with that. Bias is popping up. Yeah, I think Bias has a lot of power here. I think Bias on Fanduel could be really fun at 3,200. Bias and play, yes sir. What up, Earth to Air? I'm stacking San Diego and the Dodgers. Let's go. Wasn't he in the lineup yesterday? Who was that? Did the Mets play yesterday? Bias. I thought I read a blurb on Twitter that said there might have been a setback, but yeah, I guess 822. Oh, the other day. All right, so we went 2 for 4, 2 doubles. That's a good sign. You're right. Good call. I can get behind some Bias. Let's move on to the next game here. Indians hosting the Rangers. A couple of you guys said that your optimizers are on the Rangers, so let's see if we can figure out why. Eli Morgan taking on Taylor Hearn. Rangers 4 implied run total. The Indians 5.1. Indians are minus 164 favorites on the money line right now. Hearn 5K on DK, 21% K rate to righties, a 26.7% K rate to lefties. This Indians lineup will almost be all righties, if not for sure all righties. Jose Ramirez is switching in the midst of it all. So we can really isolate these righty splits here. A 5.16 xFIP to righties, 1.8 home run per 9, a 12% walk rate. None of that is what you want, according to Joe Girardi. So no Taylor Hearn for me. Would be interested in these Indians bats to maybe take advantage of those numbers. Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes would absolutely be guys at the top of my interest. I guess Jose Ramirez is the only guy with a 4+ rating on the bomb detector, but a guy like Franmil definitely can swing with a lot of pop here. Eli Morgan on the bump for the Indians. 5.37 xFIP against lefties on the season, 4.39 against righties. I've seen some people that I respect say that they are high on Eli Morgan today, more notably his strikeout prop. So I wanted to make a mental note and revisit that and see if I can figure out why that is, right? So let's go take a minute to look at Eli Morgan's card on Fangraphs, and I'm gonna go look at game log and see if there's something lately that he has changed or done to make people on him, or is it just a matter of the Rangers or the Rangers. So Eli Morgan, last couple games, we'll pull up his DraftKings card while we're here. Tyler's in chat, liking a little Eli Morgan. Eli Morgan, 30.5 against the Minnesota Twins. -3 against Oakland, that's fine, it happens. 20+ against Toronto. So I guess he's coming off his best game ever. So let's see what was going on in that game. He had a 10% swinging strike rate in that game with an 82% first pitch strike rate, which is kind of high. And then outside swing rate was just 32%. Swing rate 55.6%. I guess we'll look at batted ball data here. 268 xFIP. I mean, it was a clean game, it looks like. Pitch type, did he change up his... He went 30% change up. a little less fastball than usual, I guess, but for the most part, it just looks like he was having a good game, which hasn't been a consistent trend for him. I guess this Rangers lineup right now projecting all but 3 lefties. That could tap into Eli Morgan's 26% K rate to righties. Does allow an elevated average and an elevated home run per 9. So 17% called strike rate, 10.5% swinging strike rate. Like, I guess I could understand the ranges of outcomes, right? The possibilities of him having a good game here. But I'm not really saying anything that makes me feel super warm and fuzzy. But I guess the argument here is that the Rangers have this lane of incredibly high strikeout rates, right? 27% and up on this projected 4 in a row. Garcia, Nate Lowe, DJ Peters, and Jason Martin. And then there's only one guy in this lineup, that being Adolis Garcia with over a 200 ISO against righties since the beginning of last year. So, like, I understand it. It just seems like bad versus bad, and you're hoping this bad wins, and I guess it could. So if you're on Eli, definitely don't let me push you off of it. I was just trying to reverse engineer why people were on it. So what was the strikeout prop for Eli Morgan? We'll see if the algorithm, it's at 4.5. That is kind of low considering that this stretch right here is so high. So Eli Morgan, recent pitches, 90, 72. So let's give him 90 pitches in the K Factory and see what that spits back, with 4.5 being the number that we're looking to excel on. 90 gives me 6.5. So I get 2 strikeouts of cushion there in the projection. So I would at least maybe co-sign that the Eli Morgan over 4.5 strikeout prop that I saw earlier. So yeah, give me that. I probably don't play Morgan for DFS personally, but I can concede that I understand the case, the ranges of outcomes, and him, in his last start, showing you that there is at least a little bit of upside in his arm. If you got your 30 DKP, man, that's huge. So I'll be in on his strikeout prop. I'll say that. If this lineup doesn't give me any curveballs versus what's in the projected lineup, I'll be in on the strikeout prop. By the way, if you guys want to be on the strikeout prop too, on PrizePicks.com, if you haven't tried it yet, go to PrizePicks.com, sign up. If you use my name and the code, it's a great way to support the channel. They do the first deposit bonus up to $100. So if you just want to throw a $20 bill at them, they'll make it $40, site credit, and it's instantly, no slow drip. You can play around and maybe tell some of the picks we're thinking out loud about right here on the research session. I would definitely appreciate it. Like I said, they do show me love once a month based on how many people punch in my code, right? Let's see what you guys got. Lorenzo says, I'm loving King Franmil. So the case for Franmil Reyes here, definitely his OPS and ISO elevated. Definitely splits better against lefties. And this is a lefty, so I don't mind getting behind that. Taylor Hearn, a 1.8 overall home run per 9. Being that he does have a pretty pitcher-friendly home park when the lid is closed, I'm just curious to see if Hearn has a decent sample size on the road against righties, and if that home run per 9 goes up even more, and maybe progressive feel can be something that we can maybe amplify the home run propensity here, right? So away versus righties, he's given up 7 bombs in 19 innings. That's huge. To put a number on that, that's a 3.2 home run per 9. So yeah, Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes definitely profile extremely well here. You might even look at a guy like maybe Ahmed Rosario. What's the ground ball rate on the road? Not that that's like super important. Away versus righties, 42. So he's still an elevated ground ball guy, but the home runs have definitely creeped up on him outside of Globe Life. Let's move on to the next game here. Yankees at the Braves. Braves fan, I love you. Please don't hit that thumbs down. Just stick with the thumbs up, and we'll be Gucci, fam. If the Yankees lost today, we got 10. I won't even be mad at you. Yankees at the Braves. Charlie Morton up against Andrew Heen Dog Heaney. Yankees have an implied run total of 4.2. The Braves, 4.9. They are home favorites. Their best pitcher on the bump, Charlie Morton, taking on The Yankees, arguable worst pitcher, Andrew Heaney. So definitely the spot that they should get behind. The Yankees have a lineup they call the goal line jumbo package. I don't think we see it here because they don't have the DH, but what we saw yesterday is what we saw earlier this year in Miami. Giancarlo Stanton, Joey Gallo, Judge playing the outfield. And then Aaron Boone is very likely to double switch out Giancarlo Stanton throughout the game. And that's what happened yesterday, even though Stanton at the time was responsible for all of the runs. A lot of strikeout propensity in this Yankees lineup. I was there on the Inoa strikeout prop yesterday, and it hit. So I guess I'm curious off the bat what Charlie Morton's strikeout prop would be. But look at this lane here. 31%, 34%, 28%, 28, 29, 36. You sunk my battleship and the pitcher spot down here. So just DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo under a 25% K rate, much less under 20%. So there's absolutely a lane here for Charlie Morton to pop off. This season at home, Morton a 28% overall K rate. And let's see what PrizePicks is offering as a line for him to bet over or under. So Charlie bit me. Charlie Morton's at 7.5 strikeouts. Jeez Louise. Whew. I don't think I would bet that, but I do think he could hit that. But 7.5 seems like that's a sweat. So I guess out of curiosity, the K Factory, we'll give him 90 to 100 pitches. See what it spits back. 90 at 6.9, 100 7.6. So yeah, the K Factory is at the ceiling rate on that one. So I'm not taking that strikeout prop. I guess the other thing to look at for his PrizePicks number would be possibly his fantasy point projection or his pitching outs. So I guess if we gave him, he might even be like worthy of a 100 pitch projection because he is a monster. But Morton's going to be the highest scoring starting pitcher on the slate. He could be. I ain't going to take that from him. 6 innings, 89-90. So let's give him 90 pitches in that K Factory again. And I'm going to look at pitching outs. So one of the things that the K Factory does compute, other than just like giving us a strikeout projection, it does consider stuff like pitches per out, and that's not pitches per at bat. That's a different number. Pitches per out is a good way to also compensate for at bats that turn into plate appearances, whether it be walks or hit by pitches, and then also just guys that get hit. So if we give him 90 pitches, that gives me 18.7 outs as the projection. So on PrizePicks, do we have a pitching out projection? We do not for him. So I guess we can't really explore that too much. Maybe we look at his fantasy points. Keep in mind, this fantasy point is mirroring that of Fanduel. And he's at 38, which I think he can get to, right? 40, 50 doesn't seem like a crazy outcome here. But it's also like everything's juiced on Charlie Morton. So I don't feel like I'm getting a fun, easy sweat. But the matchups there, you guys see it. I'm curious to see what this Yankees lineup does look like. Tomorrow's a day off for the Yankees, I believe. It's a 2-game set. So they're coming off of a day off because of a postponement. 2-game set, NL game, and then a day off. So they can really do anything they want with this bullpen. And yesterday was a strong outing for the bullpen. So one of the things I'm going to be watching as a fan is if Heaney's getting smacked early, do they just say, all right, it's go time. Let's just turn this into a bullpen game. Loaiza could get back out there, eat me 2 innings. Chad Green probably almost definitely pitches this game. Chapman maybe makes an appearance, stuff like that. So something I'm watching for. Matchup-wise, Heaney, a high fly ball lefty, giving up a lot of power to righties. Ozzie Albies, Jorge Soler, Austin Riley. I think we spent a minute to doubt him yesterday. I think he poked one over the wall on a Montgomery curveball, which is his best pitch. And I don't think Montgomery had given up a homer on the curveball until that pitch. So shout out to Austin Riley. Or was it Swanson? It might have been Swanson. Dansby Swanson's 3,800 on FanDuel. I think the Brave stack is very viable on paper versus Heaney. So I'd be there on them against my self-bias. More to think about it, I think it was Dansby Swanson, not Riley. And then the Yankee stack, if we're projecting Charlie Morton to be as high strikeout and potentially high owned as maybe he falls into with the projections liking him the way it does, maybe I can get the Yankees at a decent clip here and invest in them because they are kind of cheap as a stack. 5,100 on Judge. Everyone else is 4K or less, so I would be there on some Yankees. But like I said, you're guaranteed for some of these guys to get double switched out. Stanton likely it wouldn't play all 9 innings if he did start. You would see Brett Gardner probably go in there. It is Brett Gardner's birthday. You might see Luke Voit pinch hit and then double switch with like Rizzo or something like that. I don't know. Why not go? Look what Noah did with 2 pitches, maybe 3. He got 9 strikeouts. I'm not saying I don't think he can get over 7. Just from a betting standpoint, I hate betting like 7 and 7.5, 8, just because it is a sweat. There's a lot of error and opportunity to go bad, right? So I usually shop for the 4 to 6ers, but like your risk tolerance and your faith, everyone's different. So I think he could excel the 7.5 number, but it's just like a number that's kind of high that I don't generally like to dabble with because I feel like I'm not getting a ton of value, especially when my own algorithm is like barely right there, you know. It was Swanson, Riley got a double. All right. Heaney under 16.5 pitching outs on PrizePicks for all the reasons that you said. Yeah, 16.5. What is that? 5 innings and an out. I could see that. Like I said, if Heaney does get smacked, I definitely think his leash could be short here. Normally I feel like a team with 10 wins would be like, all right, we're due. But the Yankees don't have to be that team here on this road stretch because they do have the reset button from the day off and then no game tomorrow. So yeah, I like that thought process. I do think the Braves are very menacing team against lefties, so I'm with that. Yankees got that lumberjack outfield, dude. The Yankees, when they had the DH, the other day they let off Luke Voit, then they had Stanton, Judge, Joey Gallo. And they called it the jumbo goal line package, and I loved that analogy. It worked out so well. Anything else in chat on this one? It's our night. Gun Brave stack. I'll tell you what. I'll do like I did the other night. I'll stack Braves here, and no matter what, I win. But I think it was Heaney's last start. I full sent the Red Sox, right? Full sent them, and Heaney had his best game as a Yankee. And I even tweeted, man, it's like if full stacking against Heaney every 5 days means we run down the Rays, I'll do it. I'll sacrifice the bankroll every 5 days for that. So I'm with that. Hey. Yo, John Sarkis, man, I appreciate that sub on YouTube, man. Welcome to the channel. For those of you that don't have subs public, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. We are knocking on the door. Did we say 5,300? Is it 5,300? I think we're right on the door of 5,300. So if you guys are lurking, you're watching, show some love. The freest way to do it is hit that subscribe button. You don't even have to turn notifications on. Just help me pad my stats a little bit and grow the channel even more. Let's move on to the next game. Tigers at the Cardinals. Casey Mize taking on Jack Flaherty. The Tigers, a 3.2 implied run total. The Cardinals, 4.9, minus 233 favorites on the money line. 90 degrees out here in St. Louis with 66% humidity. So I actually think the humidity is a little higher than did we talk about Baltimore? I think it might be higher than that. Flaherty's at 9.6K. Got to believe that he's going to be a name a lot of people want to look at as a play today. I got no pushback. Tigers have not been great. And you put them in an NL Park. You remove that DH spot. Flaherty, since coming back from the IL, Kansas City and Milwaukee, 81, 92 pitches, got to 8 strikeouts against Milwaukee, 6 innings strong here. Back-to-back quality starts. Probably expect more of the same here. I don't mind putting Flaherty as perhaps a tier 1 option today. His numbers against lefties so far not as great this season. 4.1 xFIP, 23% K rate, but I'm willing to forego that in this park. And 4.1 isn't like crazy bad either. And his numbers against righties are really doggone good. So I'm in there on some Flaherty. A lot of 1 in 5 K rates, 20% to 23% window for the bulk of this projected lineup. And then guys like Daz Cameron and Grayson Griner, if they do make the lineup like they are projected to, have 27%, 32% K rates. And then the pitcher picks up his bat and steps into the batter's box. And you probably just assume every pitcher has like a 40% K rate, especially American League pitchers. They're not used to doing this. So Flaherty is definitely a strong option in my opinion. Curious to see what we might put on a strikeout projection for him. I'm going to give him 90 pitches. I think that's fair. 90 pitches, 6 innings. So I'd be looking for an 18 out bet or 5.5 to 6 strikeouts as a projection, and then I'd flirt with the over. So let's see what PrizePicks is going to give us here on strikeouts. Gunn wants to be a 5.3K bet. Help the guy out. I would appreciate that, right? What if your sub count on YouTube was your DraftKings salary? I'd be 5.3K. I would hit value sometimes. I don't know. What am I looking for? I'm looking for Jack Flaherty. He's at 6.5. So that's kind of on the verge. I think that's what I said I was looking for, 6.5. And then he's at 18.3 outs. I think 6 innings is like what they look for out of him. So if he got to 6 innings, we're going to do it. So unless they gave me 17.5, I probably wouldn't take Flaherty pitching outs. But it didn't look like they had a bunch of pitching out projects anyway. Playman, Lars Newport. R. Stanley, 2 best catchers confused between Varsho and Zunino. I don't know that either would be on the list for me as the best catcher. Zunino is fun, very powerful, but does have a high strikeout rate. So no, we don't have out projections for Flaherty there. So, but I'll tell you what, we'll pop open the bond detector for you, Stanley, and see. I feel like something bit my arm. I keep looking at it. I don't know if I got hit by an ant or something. But we'll pop open the bond detector, and I'll let you take a peek at some of the top catchers. So, catcher. Max Stassi has a 4.2 rating on the bond detector. I don't know if that lineup's confirmed yet, but against Spencer Watkins, I could see that. And then Carson Kelly, Stallings, Mitch Garver. Garver's not somebody I'm too in love with because of the matchup, but maybe Max Stassi. But otherwise, like if you didn't like these guys, 4K or above, just completely punt the position. That's what I do. And whatever happens, happens. If I take a 0 at catcher, I take a 0. Varsho has been pretty solid lately, though. Where did you come from? Where did you... Okay, buddy. Newt Bar double donging with that. 125 ISO versus Detroit strong option. What's a... I'm kind of confused what the... 125 ISO versus Detroit. You mean Jack Flaherty has a 125 ISO allowed? Is that what you meant? Mize could be a sneaky SP2 today. 6,300 for Mize. What would you need to realistically be happy on a 14-game slate? Like in a vacuum, he might pay off this price point at 12 to 15. But to win on this slate, you're probably going to need double 20s out of your pitching spot because 28 pitchers, right? I don't know how often 12 to 15 hunts, and that's probably in a good game. He's had some really good matchups, guys. Baltimore twice and the Angels and Kansas City. He's gotten you more than 10 once against Baltimore. Like I don't know that the risk reward's there for me. And like I said, I think you need double 20s on this slate out of your pitcher spot, you know? 125 ISO. Yeah, I'm in on Flaherty. Flaherty, 9,600. That's just like a strong floor, strong ceiling option against the Tigers team without a DH. So I'm with that. Gunn, what's Cleveland ownership projections on DraftKings? I don't know. I haven't looked at ownership projections yet. I don't like to look at ownerships until after my first research run. But also, the ownership projections that I really ever look at is the Osmo ones, and I don't want to give away like proprietary information without like permission. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I wouldn't feel right to even like, I don't know. No matter what it was, like if I looked at I have Fantasy Labs too. Like I wouldn't want to give away their ownership, but I can guess. And like in my head, I kind of came into the slate thinking that German Marquez would be the highest owned, weather permitted. And then stack wise, I kind of let the run totals tell the story. And so far, I feel like the Red Sox have to be one of the highest owned projected stacks. So there it is, right? What up, Obi-Wan? His problems come against lefties, and this is a predominantly righty-heavy lineup for Jack Flaherty. Yeah, it could be. This could be half and half. Or you mean for Mize? Mize against righties, 18.5% K rate. Man, I'm just saying that Angels lineup has allowed some big games, and Mize was not one of them. So I don't know. It is. Remember, it's 90 degrees out there in St. Louis anyway. Could get a little freaky. But I if you think Mize can get you 20 plus, like I think you need double 20s out of your pitcher spot on a 14-game slate to make some tournament noise, you know. Rockies at the Cubs, next game on the docket. So, chat, somebody in chat earlier said that there might be some weather in Chicago, but on what I'm looking at, like I don't see any alerts for weather. So if you guys had like actual like intel on that, or was that just like a troll? I don't think it was a troll, but you know what I'm saying? I guess give me a second. I'll pull up a weather report here. While we do that, I'll remind you guys, if you want to hang out with me for a couple hours before lock, I will be in the RunDFS.com premium VIP Discord today, chopping it up before lock as we go forward. If you guys want to get in on that, it is a perk of having a premium subscription at RunDFS.com. You sign up, there will be a link to the spreadsheet. You'll get access to the index portal, the bomb detector, all that stuff. Then you open up the Discord, and you scroll over here, you click voice chat. You'll probably see me, Fish Fan, maybe Jake, a couple of guys. Raj is in there. It gets pretty lackadaisical, but for those of you that are new or you're still trying to find your footing in baseball, man, interrupt the conversation that we have and ask some strategy questions. So pulling up Roto Grinders weather report from Kevin Roth. Let's do that and maybe see if there's anything about this. Colorado at Chicago, we'll see a straight pop up in the area, but models keep the activity well away from the ballpark. So it looks like it's not an option. So that's good information because I'm ready to lose all the money on German Marquez getting blown up, right? German Marquez on the bump for the Rockies. Cubs throwing Justin Steele. 4.8 is your run total for the Rockies. 4.3 for the Cubs here. We did get a confirmed Rockies lineup. We don't have a confirmed Cubs lineup. By the way, if you did want access to RunDFS.com premium, go to RunDFS.com, get yourself signed up. For the next week, I think there's only 7 days left. Week passes are only $20 instead of $30. When football comes back, you get these prices back, but right now you can get up to 40% off. So good time to take action on that. German Marquez is 8,200. Guys, this is getting ridiculous. Antonio Senzatella and just a collection of really, really bad pitchers, or really average at best pitchers, have had incredible game against the Cubs. Starting pitchers, DKP by game log versus Cubs. Let's go last 10 games. Antonio Senzatella was like a 6K, 7% swinging strikeout pitcher, a 7% swinging strike pitcher. He went 6 strong, 6 innings. Then we got 8 strikeouts out of Carlos Hernandez, 9 out of Bubic. Bubic, by the way, was throwing a no-hitter through 6 innings. A rain delay kind of interrupted things, and he had to come back out, and then it just kind of fell out. 8 strikeouts by Brad Keller. German Marquez, easily the best pitcher that has pitched against the Cubs since arguably Tyler Mahle, which ironically Mahle didn't do great. But this is a massive spot for Marquez here. And at 8,200, baseball's baseball. But man, oh man, like in 20 lineups, I'd probably get 100% of Marquez. 150, there's obviously no reason to do that to yourself. But this just seems like a can't-miss spot. I know baseball's a trolley game, and just because I said that, Marquez is going to give up 20 or something insane. But German Marquez is a good pitcher, and this is a really bad team no matter what lineup they put out. The Cubs did end up putting some runs up yesterday after Senzatella left the game. Mentioned Chacin came in and started getting hit up. But so far this season on the road, German Marquez has a 10.24 K per 9. A sub-3 walk per 9. Could get better there. 1.24 home run per 9. 255 average allowed, 129 whip, a 318 BABIP. So you could argue that he's even been unlucky on the road, 342 xFIP. Like this, I mean this. I would pay $10K for Marquez today, and you're giving him to me at 8,200. It's my favorite pitcher on the slate. He's the cover boy for a reason. I'm there. So we don't have an official Cubs lineup yet. I don't know that there's many okey dokes they can do for us. Ian Happ, I think, reached base 5 times yesterday. Cool. But this is like a spot where I'm on Marquez and I'm not really wavering. Justin Steele on the bump here for the Cubs. I do think Steele is a good pitcher. Like, I don't think he's a gas can. I definitely think he can suppress opposing power. Is he stressed out enough to consider him as a play at 6,500? I feel like if you're considering Casey Mize, you probably should also consider Justin Steele. Steele's at least facing one of the worst road teams in all of baseball. He's at 82 pitches in his last start, so maybe he builds off of that, gets to 90 here. Not a far right column that's really that sexy to me, but strikeouts could be there, over a strikeout per inning against Cincy. Cincy, a tough spot, right? At Cincy, one of the tougher spots you can ask for. But I'm willing to say that, hey, maybe here at home he could have a solid outing, a 24% K rate to righties, 34% to lefties. It's going to be a nearly all righty lineup. So maybe 1-4 with a 60% ground ball rate. Like, this is a lot of green in the batted ball data, and that's usually not something that coincides with the home run per nine. So we'll take a minute to look at that, but it looks like he's going to have like a 30% home run to fly ball rate, and it's just a little bit of unluckiness to start his career. So let's pull up his batted ball splits, or really just his splits, and see what the heck is going on, because I definitely think Justin Steele's the metrics are projecting well for him. So just in general, batted ball data versus righties, he has as I guess 33.3% home run to fly ball rate. Usually 10% is where stuff stabilizes, right? 8 to 12%, something like that in that area, depending on if you're a fly ball pitcher or not. Obviously, if you're a ground ball pitcher, your home run to fly ball rate can be elevated, but 10% is kind of what I'm looking for. 28% fly ball rate. So I know we see guys like Will Crowe, who has an elevated home run per nine with a high ground ball rate. So, like, there is a world where that happens, but usually the pushback is the hard contact, and the hard contact rate is 14%. So I do think we could argue that Justin Steele is not going to sustain a 2 home run per nine to righties. So let's pull up his minor league card here and just double check to see if his DNA from the minors will project some positive regression in that regard. Because I do think 6K, like in 150 lineups, I'm a little bit interested in putting him in the back end of the player pool, capping him at 10%, right? Like, I'm not excited to play the Cubs here, so why not? In the minors, 20 innings pitched against righties, 1 homer. So that's way more normal for his metrics so far. 1 per 10 innings is kind of like an easy number to remember. So, yeah, I think Justin Steele could be good. And at 6,500, I think I could get there before the field gets there, right? 6,500, could I get the 20 plus? I think it's a crazy range of outcome. I do think the Rockies will project better always, because some of these numbers are inflated by their home splits. But man, I'm there on some Justin Steele at 65, so I will put him in the tier 3 spot. But Marquez, tier 1, give him to me. He's my favorite pitcher, points per dollar on the slate, and I mean it when I say I would pay $10K for Marquez today against the Cubs. Yeah, no. Let's get caught up in chat. What up, Robert Mims? What's the best number to set your randomness on baseball and stack number? So I use 25-30% just because baseball has just an incredibly high amount of variance. So, randomness, just kind of pick up for the variance. You still want the best projected guys to be up there, but those 8-hole, 9-hole hitters will hit homers here and there. You don't want to miss out on that. So for me, my number is 30%, but I don't think that I don't think that's like a correct answer really on what you think your risk tolerance is. Quinn says Flaherty under 41 fantasy points on PrizePicks. Seems like he's going to have very efficient to hit 41 in 6 innings. I can see a strikeout per inning, quality start, win probably. It's just a matter, does it give up some earnings? What else we got here? How do you normally use park factors to construct your lineup? So I don't overreact to. I definitely got bit by something, man. It's starting to bubble up. Park factors isn't a massive part of the process for me in terms of liking or disliking a hitter. It definitely is a tiebreaker. I really use it a little bit more for some of the extreme sides of the parks. So like Tropicana is one of the extreme pitchers parks. So when I can take their offense out of Tropicana and kind of see how they do in more neutral to plus parks, it's great. I almost always will try and split the Rockies pitchers and really focus on what they've done on the road because of the obvious altitude adjustment. Same with like Great American Ballpark splits. All the extremes. I look at the opposite if I'm trying to justify the play or the fade, but generally, like I just let that be a little bit more neutral. I'm not going to overrate the park. I just kind of bet on talent. There's Slack. Steele should be good. Colin Hendricks was a complete gas can, and he should send himself down to the minors. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. He needs to go Rossi office, say, demote me, I deserve gas can. Yeah, guys, stop. Not going to happen. It's for you're playing for the Cubs, bro. One of you guys could pitch for the Cubs. Like, they're really just calling it in, eat innings, get out of here, and move on to next year, you know? What up, Keith? What up, Josh Gilham? Any love from Bumgarner? A little bit, not a lot. Definitely think, like, I'm not excited to stack Pirates, so I think Mad Bum is a spot to win that matchup in terms of being a plus fantasy play, right? Steele's 4K prop on PrizePicks could be an over. So the Rockies have a couple 20%ers. The pitcher spot 4 is kind of low, so yeah. And I do think his strikeout percentages are high, like a 28% overall K rate, almost a 13% swinging strike rate. I don't know, what's a number? 80 pitches, 70. Let's give him 70 pitches, but I think 80 is possible. 70 pitches, I get 5, so his number's 4. I'd probably take it, but give me Marquez. I think Marquez is at 6.5, and I'm curious to see what the Cubs confirmed lineup ends up being, but that lineup has a potential to be another 30% K rate type of lineup. Let's move on to the next game here. We're kind of needing to speed up a little bit. Brewers hosting the Reds. Tyler Mahle taking on Corbin Burns. Reds have a 3.1 implied run total. Brewers at 4.5. Corbin Burns should be one of the more sought after pitchers just based on talent. I don't know that he ends up being the number one owned pitcher, but he is the most expensive guy, and he's not like super expensive, right? We've seen 12K pitchers in the past. He's only 10.6K. He's definitely a better pitcher than that price point in terms of floor to ceiling ratio, but he does draw a tough Cincinnati matchup. But in this matchup, he dropped 43. How long ago was that? That was at Cincy on July 18th. So, I mean, that's the elements, right? At Great American Ballpark, that's one of the tougher spots to thrive in, and he was just on one. So I definitely think Corbin Burns is absolutely in play today. And even with 3 strikeouts at St. Louis, he dropped 20 plus. Like, that's actually crazy. Like, what? So I'm fine with rostering Burns here. The run total for the Reds is really low, 3.1. Anytime we get like decent offenses at that type of run total, I don't mind betting on a bloop and a blast and another bloop and a blast later on against the bullpen. But that's just something in the back of my mind. There's really not anything matchup wise for me to get behind these Reds. Maybe if ownership and just obscure back pocket leverage kind of presented itself, I'd get there, but I'm way more on the Burn side. 38% carry to righties this year, 33% carry to lefties. He's good. Tyler Mahle has been a little bit more hit and miss. When he's good, he has the great strikeout stuff, 32% carry rate to lefties, 25% to righties. The righty splits are troublesome. 4.14 xFIP overall to righties, a 212 home run per 9. And that's one of those spots I talked about, isolating the home road splits for the hitter park pitchers and pitcher park hitters. So Mahle, let's take his splits out of Great American Ballpark and maybe see how he's done outside of the small park and put him in a temperature-controlled American Family Field, right? So away, Molly on the season. Is that Molly's card? Yeah. Molly on the season away has a 1.86 ERA. So that's good. We don't focus too much on ERA, but 10.16 K per nine, a 3.93 xFIP. The xFIP actually goes up. The WHIP is under 1. The average allowed is 186. So, and the home run per nine goes to 0.37. And we mentioned he struggled against righty. So against righty, it goes to 0.47. So that's a very significant split, right? 4.25 home run per nine at home to righties, but on the road it goes to 0.47. That's crazy. So maybe he definitely deserves a little bit more respect here. 9,900, looking for 20 plus from all of my pitchers today. I think he could get it. This definitely is a lineup that can strike out, 20% of the time on average, with a couple of guys to raise the average, including the pitcher spot. So more reason to be enamored with the pitching options in this game than the hitting options, and that's kind of where I think I'm going to settle. Yeah, that's where I settle. So I'm in on pitchers. I'd just be cherry picking bats here. I don't really see a need to full send the full stack, See what you guys got in the live chat for move on. Lorenzo says, my man fastball tops out 87. I know I threw 70 miles an hour at the state fair. I mean, Greinke throws 87, I think, too, right? I don't know if you guys remember way back when, what was his name? Jared Weaver. Hey, man, he was throwing 87, making it work sometimes. So sometimes you don't need velocity. Low velocity will induce some softer contact. But it is definitely more preferred to have high velocity. But yeah, show me where Kyle Hendricks touched you, Lorenzo. I feel like you played him yesterday. Solid says Marquez got to be a full send on Fanduel though, right? For me, yeah. The only pushback is that maybe you don't bank on the Rockies to win a game because they are so bad on the road, and we've talked about Justin Steele being probably good. But the quality start, the strikeouts seem there. I think his DraftKings price just is an incredible landing spot. I don't really baseball's baseball, but don't really see a downside to the price. At least on FanDuel, you know that there's probably going to be a 50, 60 fantasy point scorer, and that's the guy that's probably going to float to the top. It could be Marquez, but Corbin Burns, Tyler Miley, guys like that also project decent to well also. Cubs lineup is out. Let me refresh my my stuff here. That Houston lineup, though. Crazy to mini stack Reds for leverage. So it really just comes down to what you personally see as leverage and what leverage is worth to you. For my sake, I don't like to do the crazy stack against the best pitcher unless the best pitcher's getting crazy ownership. So usually the 5-game slates, the 4-game slates, the 6-game slates where a couple pitchers get up to 50, 60, 70%, then it's a why the heck not when I get a 5% stack against the top guy. But today, if these really elite pitchers are only going to be 20, 30%, for me, it doesn't seem that fruitful to get the what the heck leverage. But that's just, that's my personal stance. If you guys think 30% is enough to leverage stack against, go for it. But I like to do it when the ownership's really beefed up, personally. All right, I did do a refresh. We've got a couple lineups that came out. So I'll try and wrap up here because I think a lot of you guys want to catch that Awesome stream in 15 minutes. So let me finish analysis the next couple games here, and then I'll go back and update some lineups. Why is WRC Plus used? WRC Plus, weighted runs created. It's just it's a metric that portrays, I guess in layman's terms, runs created, and it puts it on a linear scale where 100 is the league average, and then if you're above 100, that's how much better you are than the league average, and below 100 is how much worse you are than league average. So it's an easy way to say, hey, on average, this team is this much better than average or this much lower. And obviously, if you're better, that's going to make eyes light up, and you want to either stack them or not pitch against them, and vice versa. So that's why it's used, but it's really more so a team metric. Yeah, individual players have WRC plus, but I also feel like you don't need WRC plus to know that a hitter's in a good matchup. But for team stacking purposes, it's absolutely a metric that will expedite a thought process and make you on or off something. All right, let's move on real quick. Royals at the Astros. Astros, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Yordan Alvarez in lowercase letters. Yordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa. Chad, I'm running a little bit long on this stream. I definitely am going to try to speed it up for you, but hopefully you guys don't mind. But I definitely try to get you guys out of here before like Awesemo goes live. That way you guys don't miss a beat, you know. 3.3 is your run total for the Royals, 5.3 for the Astros. Luis Garcia on the bump for the Astros, 9.7K. I definitely think Garcia is in the player pool for me, but I'm less excited versus some of the other counterparts, the Flaherty's, the Marquez's. But at home, Garcia has been really strong, almost a 31% K rate, 3.3 xFIP, 187 average allowed. All those numbers are pretty pristine. Hopefully he can make up and compensate for what Greinke did or did not do last night. If I wanted to pick on Garcia, he does have some power problems to lefties. Not really a lefty I would go after that specific split with. Maybe a Benintendi, maybe a Ryan O'Hearn, but for the most part, I'm more so on the Garcia side. Brady Singer on the bump here for the Royals. Under 25% K rate to both sides of the plate. On the road to 4.12 xFIP, 175 home run per 9. Astros have a really strong lineup today. They didn't get him back today, but Alex Bregman, I think, I read yesterday, was getting back to the team today, so we might see him back in the lineup in the next couple days, which would be just a crazy addition to an already crazy lineup. Michael Brantley still being under 4K on DraftKings is not fair. I think he's still leading the league in batting average in the 2 spot against a righty. Huge matchup there. I'm in on the Astros stack, 5.3 runs. I know they let us down yesterday, but I'm goldfish memory here. I'm going to go back to him. Not going to play Singer. We'll play Garcia. Next game, Padres hosting the Dodgers. One of the most painful names in all of baseball, fellas. Pierce Johnson is opening for the Padres here, up against Julio Urias. Matchup here is giving us a 4.2 implied run total for the Padres, 4.9 for the Dodgers. Urias is a serviceable pitcher at 9,200 and a 1v1. Obviously, I'm going to the Flaherty side. If I wanted to diversify a pitching portfolio, maybe I put him in the back end of the pool. I'm not really excited to throw a lefty at that Padres lineup. Don't really implicate a ton of innings out of Urias, but you can get a lot of strikeouts, 5, 7 strikeouts. So if you think 20 plus is a range of outcome, go for it. But he's not a 20 or less pitcher for me, Urias that is. And then the Padres lineup, if we got Tatis, Machado, Tommy Pham, if Will Myers makes it, Austin Nola, like there's enough pushback in this lineup. What happened to you, Darvish? I had Darvish listed as a starter last night, and then that just didn't happen. I woke up today. I guess he got put on the IL. I woke up today and it was Pierce Johnson listed as the opener. So I guess we could get behind a Dodger stack because it could just be a combination of pitchers in a bullpen game here. And you guys know the Dodgers are like the Yankees, right? The fully operational Death Star. So whatever's in the confirmed lineup would be what I'd probably throw in the opto and say, hey, give me a couple 4 or 5 man stacks. And I wouldn't really overthink the starting matchup because we probably don't get more than one at-bat for any pitcher versus any hitter here. So give me the Dodger stack, but neither lineup is confirmed. That is your 14-game slate. Chat if you guys have any lasting thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, drop them in here. Couple quick plugs. Reminder, we have a couple spots left in a $100 NFL season-long league. If you guys want in on that, DM me on Twitter. First pay, first serve. The draft will be next Monday. After Baseball Lock, that's August 30th. And we'll probably stream them on this channel. We got a $150 draft. That league is full, and then we have the $100 league. That's the one we're trying to fill now. It is ESPN League, and it's DraftKings scoring. So full PPR, the bonuses on 100 yards rushing, receiving, and over 300 yards passing. All that good stuff. Also, PrizePicks.com if you try it out. please show me some love, support me, use my code when you sign up. You get that $100 instant deposit bonus. So if you throw $20, they'll make it 40, and they'll double everything you deposit up to $100. And then lastly, go check out rundfs.com. This is the last week you can get in there for $20 until NFL's back. All right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back. I'm going to get some confirmed lineups punched in. If you guys are done, man, I appreciate you. I hope you crush it tonight. Enjoy wherever you're going. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. But for those of you guys that are going to stick around for a couple minutes, I'm going to get some lineups updated. And then if you guys had any hunches or thoughts or anything like that, throw them at me and we will tackle them. So Phillies lineup did come out. Odubel Herrera, Gene Segura, Harper, Realmuto, Didi Gregorius is batting 5th. Brad Miller is batting 6th. Ronald Torreyes, former Yankee great, in the 7th spot. Travis Jankowski batting 8th. So it looks like we got a couple more lefties than I thought we might end up with, but Rasmussen wasn't somebody we were going to play anyway, based on him being likely an opener. So not much has changed here. 4.4 is still the run total. Maybe they put up a stronger fight. D-backs lineup did come out. Josh Rojas, Pavin Smith is batting 2nd here. That's Drupal Cabrera. So it looks like no Ketel Marte. So that's actually a significant downgrade because he is probably their best player. Peralta, Josh Van Meter hits that 6th spot. Dalton Varsho, so they actually have 2 catcher-eligible players in their lineup. Varsho has been on a little bit of a heater lately. I don't mind him or Carson Kelly. Kelly does project over 4 in the bomb detector, not massively over 4. And Varsho, if you believe in hot streaks, has shown some pop lately. Moving on to the next game, Angels and the Orioles. Both lineups are out. Ohtani leading off. Fletcher. What's up, Fletcher? Your cholesterol, fatty. Your batting average, Fledgy. I don't know. Phil Gofflin. No Justin Upton. Upton would have been probably my favorite call for a homer not named Ohtani. So that is actually a step backwards. Jose Iglesias. I can be your hero, baby. Batting 5th. Max Stassi 6th. Brandon Marsh in the 7-hole. Joe Adele. We could have had it all, but you didn't give me Upton. So Uptown Funk is not going to give it to you tonight. Orioles, Cedric Mullins, Mountcastle, Trey Mancini, Santander, Austin. I hate Austin. Austin Hayes batting 5th. Ramon Urias, Pedro Severino, Jemai Jones is batting 8th. And Jorge Mateo batting 9th. So we do have confirmed lineups here. Not much has changed about this game, but Upton is actually kind of a step backwards because I liked him for power. Watkins allows a lot of power to righties, and Upton was one of the only righties with some power in this lineup. Now we're banking on the 2 lefties. Ohtani and Walsh is the only 2 guys in this lineup with over 200 ISO versus righties. White Sox and the Blue Jays lineups are out. No Timmy. Tim Anderson not leading off, not in the lineup. That is an immediate downgrade. One of the perennial league leaders in batting average. Moncada batting 2nd, though. Uptick in the lineup for him. Eloy Jimenez, Brian Goodwin. I think some of us looked at BVP earlier and saw his name. Thoughts? Louis Garcia batting 6th. Jake Lamb batting 7th. Danny Mendick. Who doesn't love Mendick in the A-hole? Zach Collins is your catcher, not Dr. Sebi. So a little bit of a different look lineup for the White Sox. Without Tim Anderson, you can argue the case that this is a less hit for average lineup, and then the strikeout rates go up. Outside of Danny Mendick, a lot of 23% or greater, 24% or greater strikeouts. So maybe Jose Barrios does get a on the cool upgrade. Blue Jays lineup: Bo Bichette, Marcus Semien, Vladdy Jr., Teoscar, Corey Dickerson, Alejandro Kirk, Alejandro. A catcher batting 6th. Lord Escorial batting 7th. Josh Palacios is batting 8th. And Santiago Espinal is batting 9th. So neither lineup was as projected. A couple of curveballs here. But like I said, there is a case to be made that Barrios' strikeout propensity goes up a little bit with the changes that are in that lineup. Did we get a Nats lineup? We did. Lane Thomas leading off. So somebody did ask me about Lane Thomas. So Lane Thomas is crushing it so far in the majors. If you want, I can look at his minor league numbers. Ryan Zimmerman is in the lineup. Josh Bell is not. So 2 steps forward, 1 step backward there. And that is our confirmed Nats lineup. A lot of good hit for average in this Nats lineup since the beginning of last year against lefties. So Jesus Luzardo in a tough spot. So I don't think I consider Luzardo at all. Nats total still at 4.2. Since Lane Thomas is bare bones min leading off, I feel like I don't need a strong minor league number for me to buy into that, especially how bad Luzardo's been. And maybe, as somebody who's had issues finding the zone, the leadoff guy takes some pitches and Luzardo struggles to find it early. But Lane Thomas in the minors this year is batting 254, 330 OBP, and a 756 OPS. So that's not necessarily great. And then just to isolate that, just to see if he has any crazy splits, platoon advantage against lefties. We got a 370 batting average and just 27 at bats. And how many walks? We've got 6 walks in 27 at bats. So I mean that could line up well enough. Actually, he's batting 370 in 27 at bats. Is that accurate? Is that 126? Yeah, I guess so. So not enough sample size to really stamp him, but at 2K, I mean, bare bones min, highest implied at bat totals, and Luzardo's not great so far, right? See what you guys got in chat before we move on. I will try to join late. Yeah, Mal, hit me up. The pen is blue. What up, Cody? Gallo over 0.5 total bases on PrizePicks. He walks a lot. So I play the one. I don't think a walk counts as a base. That's the 00. Double check that, but I'm pretty sure a walk is not a base. And that's how they get you. Giants. Sammy, we don't have a lineup there. Rangers. Lineup is out. This one's a little different. Leody, Taveras, Isaiah Kiner Falefer is your 2-hole guy. Adolis Garcia, low. Peters, I took a pill in Ibanez, batting 6th. Yoel Pozo, this is an incredible lineup. Nick Solak in the 8th spot. Jose Trevino batting 9th. We'll put that in. Indians lineup is out. Miles Straw, Rosario, J. Ram, Franmil. Wilson Ramos in the lineup. That's a little beefy upgrade in the middle of it. I'm in on that. Nice little catcher, batting 2.7K. Yes, sir. Daniel Johnson and Ernie Clement batting 9th. So I'm in on that. Yankees lineup still not out. I wonder what we're waiting on. I don't know if Giovanni or Glaber are on the any day now list yet, but I don't think they are. Maybe I'm wrong. Akil Baddoo batting leadoff for the Tigers today. Jonathan Scope. Nico Goodrum. Remember, this is the no DH lineup. Miggy's still in the lineup batting cleanup. 5th is Jamer Candelario. Harold Castro batting 6th. Grayson Greiner. And then Derek Hill. So that lineup is not very menacing at all. So nothing's changed in terms of Flaherty. Thoughts, Tommy Edman, Goldie, Arenado, Tyler O'Neill, Yadi Molina, Paul DeJong is batting 6th. Wait, what am I missing? Arenado. Oh, they put Dylan Carlson batting 3rd. I just went right over that. So Nolan Arenado's batting cleanup. 5 spots, Tyler O'Neill, Yadier Molina, Paul DeJong, Harrison Bader. So somebody wanted to play Lars Nootbaar earlier. It looks like you don't have that luxury today. Cubs lineup did come out. This is the one I'm most interested in. Ortega, Schwindel, Ian Happ, Patrick Wisdom, David Boat batting 5th, Jason Hayward, Austin Romine. I hate Austin. There's a lot of Austins in the majors, huh? A little weird. Not as many strikeouts as yesterday's lineup, but still very, very much a strikeout prone and bad lineup. And then Reds and Brewers, we've got India, Naquin, Castellanos, Joey Votto, Mike Moustakas is batting. I cannot type today. Batting 5th. Kyle Farmer's batting 6th. Tucker Barnhart batting 7th. And then Shogo Akiyama is batting 8th. So nothing that really moves the needle one way or the other. Maybe Moustakas comes and gets cheered in Milwaukee. Wong Adames is batting second. Christian Yelich is batting third. Avi Garcia, Omar Narvaez, Luis Reyes, Rowdy Tellez, Lorenzo Kane. All right, that is our Brewers lineup. And that's it, man. I guess the Yankees just came out, so we'll do that. What a maneuver. What a baldy. What a maneuver. I hate Austin. Yankees are throwing LeMahieu, Rizzo, Judge, Gallo, Stanton, Gary, Odor, and Velasquez. So exactly as projected. Again, look out for Stanton to get double switched out. And that is it, man. I appreciate you guys spending a lot of your Tuesday afternoon with me. Hopefully you made it out of here with a couple of nuggets that help you succeed tonight. I think Osmo is going live right now. If you want to continue your baseball knowledge, go check them out. Otherwise, I'll be in the RunDFS.com MLB VIP voice chat in about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, sipping on some Kool-Aid and making some lineups. If you guys want to tell my lineups, I will have my full player pool listed in the spreadsheet. Go to RunDFS.com, get in on the VIP action. And then, of course, Twitter.com/Gundacker. We will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, man. I love you guys. I hope you crush it. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money. Happy Kobe Day.